Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Humans and androids crowd the raucous streets of New Beijing. A deadly plague ravages the population. From space, a ruthless lunar people watch, waiting to make their move. No one knows that Earth's fate hinges on one girl. Cinder, a gifted mechanic, is a cyborg. She's a second-class citizen with a mysterious past, reviled by her stepmother and blamed for her stepsister's illness. But when her life becomes intertwined with the handsome Prince Kai's, she suddenly finds herself at the center of an intergalactic struggle and a forbidden attraction. Caught between duty and freedom, loyalty and betrayal, she must uncover secrets about her past in order to protect her world's future in Cinder. Curveball, The Year I Lost My Grip by Jordan Sonnenblick. Sometimes the greatest comebacks take place far away from the ball field. Meet Peter Friedman, high school freshman. Talented photographer, former baseball star. When a freakish injury ends his pitching career, Peter has some major things to figure out. Is there life after sports? Why has his grandfather suddenly given him thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment? And is it his imagination, or is the super hot star of the girls' swim team flirting with him right in front of the amazing new girl in his photography class? In Curveball, The Year I Lost My Grip. Dead City by James Ponti. Most kids have enough to deal with between school, homework, extracurricular activities, and friends. But Molly Bigelow isn't your typical tween. By day, Molly attends MIST, the Metropolitan Institute of Science and Technology. But it's what she's learning outside of school that sets her apart from her classmates. Molly is a zombie hunter, just like her mother. This, however, is news to Molly. Now she must come to terms with not only the idea that zombies exist, but also that they're everywhere, and it's her job to help police them and keep the peace. Sure, she'd like to be a regular kid, but regular just isn't possible when it turns out the most revered, or feared depending on your perspective, zombie hunter in the history of New York City is your mother. It seems Molly's got some legendary footsteps to follow in Dead City. Elemental by Anthony John. It is the future, and most of the population of the United States has been destroyed by the plague. Survivors have formed colonies on the barrier islands off the east coast of the country. In one small colony, almost all the members have powers to control wind, water, earth, and fire. All but 16-year-old Thomas. When the guardians of the village are kidnapped by entities seeking to take over their colony, it is up to Thomas and a small group of teens to save them and preserve the mysteries of the island in Elemental. The False Prince by Jennifer A. Nielsen. Choose to lie or choose to die. In a discontent kingdom, civil war is brewing. To unify the divided people, Connor, a nobleman of the court, devises a cunning plan to find an impersonator of the king's long-lost son and install him as a puppet prince. 4 orphans are recruited to compete for the role, including a defiant boy named Sage. Sage knows that Connor's motives are more than questionable, yet his life balance is on a sword's point. He must be chosen to play the prince, or he will certainly be killed. But Sage's rivals have their own agendas as well. As Sage moves from a rundown orphanage to Connor's sumptuous palace, layer upon layer of treachery and deceit unfold, until finally, a truth is revealed that, in the end, may very well prove more dangerous than all of the lies taken together in The False Prince. Insignia by S. J. Kincaid. It's World War III. The enemy is winning. What if the government's secret weapon is you? Video gamer Tom Raines has been recruited for the chance of a lifetime to train at the Pentagonal Spire, an elite military academy, in preparation for becoming a member of the intrasolar forces. Life at the Spire holds everything that Tom's always wanted and never had. Friends, the possibility of a girlfriend, and a life where his every action matters. But what will it cost him in Insignia? One for the Murphys by Linda Mullally Hunt. Carly uses humor and street smarts to keep her emotional walls high and thick. But the day she becomes a foster child and moves in with the Murphys, she's blindsided. This loving, bustling family shows Carly the stable family life she never thought existed, and she feels like an alien in their cookie-cutter perfect household. Despite her resistance, the Murphys eventually show her what it feels like to belong, until her mother wants her back and Carly has to decide where and how to live. She's not really a Murphy, but the gifts they've given her have opened up a new future in One for the Murphys. The Raft by S.A. Bodine. Robbie is an experienced traveler. She's taken the flight from Honolulu to Midway, where her parents live, many times. When she has to get to Midway in a hurry after a visit with her aunt in Hawaii, she gets on the next cargo flight at the last minute. She knows the pilot, but on this flight there's a new co-pilot named Max. All systems are go until a storm hits during the flight. The only passenger, Robbie doesn't panic until the engine suddenly cuts out and Max shouts at her to put on a life jacket. They are over miles of Pacific Ocean. She sees Max struggle with a raft, and then she's in the water, fighting for her life. Max pulls her onto the raft, and that's when the real terror begins. They have no water, their only food is a bag of Skittles, there are sharks, there is an island, but there's no sign of help on the way in The Raft. See You at Harry's by Joe Knowles. 12-year-old Fern feels invisible. It seems as though everyone in her family has better things to do than pay attention to her. Mom, when she's not meditating, helps Dad run the family restaurant. Sarah is taking a gap year after high school. And Holden pretends that Mom and Dad and everyone else doesn't know he's gay, even as he fends off bullies at school. Then there's Charlie, 3 years old, a surprise baby, the center of everyone's world. He's devoted to Fern, but he's annoying too. Always getting his way, always dirty, always commanding attention. If it wasn't for Ran, Fern's calm and positive best friend, there'd be nowhere to turn. Ran's mantra, "All will be well," is soothing in a way that nothing else seems to be, and when Ran says it, Fern can almost believe it's true. But then tragedy strikes, and Fern feels not only more alone than ever, but also responsible for the accident that has wrenched her family apart. All will not be well, or at least all will never be the same. In See You at Harry's. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Surrounded by enemies, the once great nation of Ravka has been torn in two by the Shadowfold, a swath of near impenetrable darkness crawling with monsters who feast on human flesh. Now its fate may rest on the shoulders of one lonely refugee. Alina Starkov has never been good at anything, but when her regiment is attacked on the Fold and her best friend is brutally injured, Alina reveals a dormant power that saves his life, a power that could be the key to setting her war-ravaged country free. Wrenched from everything she knows, Alina is whisked away to the royal court to be trained as a member of the Grisha, the magical elite led by the mysterious Darkling. Yet nothing in this lavish world is what it seems. With darkness looming and an entire kingdom depending on her untamed power, Alina will have to confront the secrets of the Grisha and the secrets of her heart in Shadow and Bone. Ungifted by Gordon Corman. The word gifted has never been applied to a kid like Donovan Curtis. It's usually more like, don't try this at home. So when the troublemaker pulls a major prank at his middle school, he thinks he's finally gone too far. But thanks to a mix-up, instead of getting in trouble, Donovan is sent to the Academy of Scholastic Distinction, ASD, a special program for gifted and talented students. It wasn't exactly what Donovan had intended, but there couldn't be a more perfect hideout. That is, if he can manage to fool people whose IQs are above genius level. But after an ongoing experiment with a live human, an unforgettably dramatic middle school dance, and the most astonishing come-from-behind robot victory ever, Donovan shows that his gifts might be exactly what the ASD students never knew they needed in Ungifted. Unstoppable by Tim Green. Winners never give up. If anyone understands the phrase tough luck, it's Harrison. As a foster kid in a cruel home, he knows his dream of one day playing for the NFL is a long shot. Then Harrison's luck seems to change. He is brought into a new home with kind, loving parents. His new dad is even a football coach. Harrison's big build and his incredible determination quickly make him a star running back on the junior high school team. In no time, he's practically unstoppable. But Harrison's good luck can't last forever. In his most dramatic and hard-hitting story yet, former NFL defensive end Tim Green writes about what it takes to be a winner, even when it seems like fate has dealt an impossible hand. Inspired by interviews with real-life cancer survivors and insider sports experience, this unforgettable story shows what it truly means to be unstoppable.